In the year 2651, time travel wasn't science. It was a side effect. After a failed experiment at the Hadron Rift Station, time began to drift. Seconds slipped. Every time the world reset, it called to her, remembering what the world forgot. Minutes repeated. Cities aged a year overnight, while others reverted to rubble. Humanity called it the blur. No one knew how to stop it, except one. Lena Cade, a rogue temporal navigator, had survived the initial implosion. Her body aged differently now. Her heart beat out of sync with reality. His eyes reflecting the dying light of a crimson sun. Most of all, she was sorry for leaving. All she could do now was say goodbye, collapsing in on itself. The paradoxes she'd carried in her heart since the day of the explosion, they were gone. The web of energy that had anchored her to this dying world, it was severed, leaving them to die while she escaped to the safety of the past. But the blur hadn't been her fault. It was an accident, a terrible, heartbreaking accident. And she would give anything to go back and change it, to save them. She thought of Amara, her best friend, her sister, her confidant. She thought of Xander, the old man who had taken her in when she was nothing but a scared kid, alone in a world that didn't want her, slipping away from the only home she'd ever known. But as the darkness embraced her, she smiled. She didn't know what lay beyond the veil, but for the first time in a very long time, she wasn't afraid. Because somewhere, somehow, she knew that she'd finally be at peace. She thought of all the faces that swam before her, the cities that flickered like dying stars. She could walk between broken timelines, slipping through cities caught in loops, watching people live the same day forever. Deep beneath Antarctica, she found the anchor, a buried temporal engine still flickering with power. It pulsed like a heartbeat. But to fix time, Lena had to unlink herself, sever her tether to the drifting timelines, and trigger a collapse of every paradox. She would vanish, but the world would be whole. All around her, the ruins of the anchor station were frozen in time, half buried in the drifting sands of an Antarctic desert. Outside, the temporal wind shrieked, tearing across the wasteland, buffeting her with icy shards of 1,000 shattered diamonds. Time was a living thing out there, wounded and dying, and Lena was its only hope. Lena stood in the heart of the temporal engine, a vast cavern of ice and machinery humming with impossible energy. Her gloved hand tracing the cold metal of the control panel, the temporal engine thrummed beneath her touch, stirring from its long sleep. A vast web of energy coiled around her, whispering promises of worlds reborn. As the temporal field stabilized, a single tear escaped her helmet, freezing on her cheek in an instant. She wiped it away, focusing on the task at hand. She had to do this for everyone, even if it meant she'd never see them again, even if it meant forgetting the love that had anchored her to this life, to this dying world. 1,000 years of accumulated drift had nearly erased the station from existence, leaving only this central chamber intact. But it was here that she would fix time, undo the damage, and hopefully find peace. Or maybe oblivion. Either way, it didn't matter anymore. Her suit hissed as she reached out. She ran diagnostics, readying the system for She thought of Kai, his hand warm and sure on hers. She was sorry. Sorry for the choices she'd made, for the lies she'd told, for the hurt she'd caused. A sob caught in her throat, echoing in the vast emptiness of the chamber. It was too late. There was no going back. With a trembling hand, Lena activated the chronostabilizing sequence. The temporal engine flared, bathing the cavern in a brilliant white light. Reality buckled around her. As the light faded, Lena felt herself drifting. She was Lena Cade, temporal navigator, and this was her story.